with the pro and the hack.
It's the pro in the hat. David Boso, the pro. Coach Rich Gilgal in the hack. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are across this great, really the whole wide world. We're on the World Wide Web. And of course, we're here from beautiful Mission Hills Country Club in the Coachella Valley, used to be known around the country as the Palm Springs area, now known as the Coachella area.
Yeah,
Yes, instead of sort of taking the onus off of Palm Springs. Now most of the country knows this as Coachella, thanks to the concerts, and it's a pleasure for us. It's really the Gulf County world.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Well over 120 18-hole golf courses here in an area like the size of Manhattan, basically, in the Coachella Valley.
It's awesome when you fly over. You'll see patches of.
Oh, it's all you see is golf course. You're like, oh, there's another 10 right there. And we got a lot going on around the golf world, and we had, of course, still coming off the buzz of the PGA, which was an amazing major championship. What's your take, Dave, as a golf professional, on moving the PGA championship from its old position in August as the final major to the second major of the year? It's a pretty dramatic impact.
That's pretty big impact. Yeah, I like the work.
Wet is a little cooler.
Absolutely. They work their way to the Midwest. They're not dying in August heat.
Yeah.
Caddies falling over left and right. We even had it down here at the end of March when we had the gallery here.
Oh, yeah.
The heat can get to you, especially those guys working in big old bags around.
Well, in the old days of the Dinah Shore craft, the Colgate Palmolive craft, the Bisco craft, the caddies, with the Terry Wilcox in charge, were given the Masters, the caddy overalls, the white.
Yeah, sword.
Yeah, what do they call that? Like Joseph or whatever. So, it was nice because it reminded you of Augusta.
Yeah.
And you know who the player was, and then what have you, by the name on the back. And I always enjoyed that.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of times when it was, if it got to 100, and a couple of times it did, they were allowed to relieve themselves of the overcoat there. But
I like it. Let's do it all major.
I think so. It adds so much class.
Yeah.
And of course, some of the caddies were naked.
When I don't want to go there.
They got real hot. They were just in there. That was it. That's a long walk. And it's a Dinah Shore.
Miles and miles. You're tugging and lugging, and you got, hopefully you and your player are getting along that day. And hopefully, let alone all the stress and everything.
Well, this is, we always talk about the purses, directed towards the winners and how they dramatically got up. Obviously, you can win a major and win as much as some of the greatest players have ever made in their whole career.
Yeah.
And but what we don't talk about is the joy that brings the caddies.
Right.
I mean, now there's no standard rule or regulation as to how that purse is divided between player and caddy.
Well, I mean, of course, the player can do whatever he wants, but really on a standard, on a major, they're going to get about 7%. On a normal tournament, they're going to get about 10%
Of the win.
of the win.
Yeah. And,
The
5%,
plus.
5% of the purse. Yeah.
Well, 7% of the purse, 10%.
Yeah, right.
Depends on
If you come in 20th place,
right.
then it's usually 5% that again. It is what my understanding.
Yeah, and I suppose it works.
But again, there's no standard rule. It's not. There's no contract. There's no caddies union yet.
Well, they have a caddy fund.
Yeah.
to help out guys that aren't on a bag and, that kind of thing.
It's awesome. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got all that.
Well, that was the best. That was one of the best things about official starter of a major is developing a little relationship with the guys that carry the bags because they know everything.
Oh, yeah.
And they know who's who and who's getting along with who and who's not getting along with who.
I'll tell you a quick story. I believe it was the first year we had the Gallery Classic out here. Here comes John Daly.
Yeah.
Not too very often you'll see him out on the driving range, right?
Very rarely.
He comes up, he had his bus, and here comes a caddy, and all of a sudden you're starting to hear it. I said, no, I did not have 7. Didn't know why you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wasn't yours?
Was it 7 and 7?
Gummies. And they were going back and forth. And he hit 6 golf balls, and they went out to play.
Well, I'll tell you a quick John Daly story. John Daly came out to my show. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to him in studio on the air, I said, John, you won the PGA championship as the 9th alternate.
Yeah.
I said, Arnold Palmer never won a PGA championship. Tom Watson never won a PGA championship. You won the British Open Championship, right? The birthplace where Mary Queen of Scots used to go out there
Right.
in her long skirts. And, at the old course, you're one of the greatest golfers that's ever lived, John. And John was taken aback. And he said, Coach, I've had so many people telling me all the things that I've done wrong. You're the first guy in the interview that's told me anything I've done right.
It's an unbelievable player.
I said, well, it's a fact of the matter. And so later on that day, we have a mutual friend, Gary, and he's holding a Callaway rifle. He said, look, Daly would like you to have Paul Brown. I said, well, I can't take that. He said, well, I can't bring it back.
Right.
And then he reached over to the other side of the door and picked up a Callaway full tour bag, full iron set.
Oh, wow.
And about 6 boxes of golf balls inside the bag. He said, he'd also like you to have this. So, and, I don't even think he remembers doing it. I really don't. Because, he didn't have to do that. So
Right.
it shows you that, the
Appreciation. Yeah. And they're actually thinking about you.
I try, in my 40-year rate, I've interviewed, including just in the golf world, we had some amazing moments. I had Billy Casper in the studio.
Nice.
And I had been trying to get a hold of Ray Floyd for forever, one of my favorite players of all time.
Uh-huh.
And coincidentally, while I'm sitting there with Gary Player and not Gary Player, Billy Casper, Billy Casper and his son, because they were building another golf course up at the 10, at the retirement community there, Del Webb.
Oh, Sun City.
Yeah, such And so I'm chatting up, with the great Billy Casper, and trying to get him all fired up. All you have to do to get Billy Casper fired up is to say, why wasn't it the Big Four? Weren't you beating all these guys?
Right.
Because I was beating. I was beating the Big Three. I thought it wasn't the Big Four. Coincidentally, Ray Floyd happens to call in at that exact moment, so it was the greatest transition. I just said, "Hey Ray, I'm sitting here with a friend of yours. You might know the guy, Billy Casper." And Billy goes, "Randy, how you doing, everybody?" They had just played with the father and son. So,
So what would be your favorite interview? Who was the best?
golf-wise,
Yeah.
it's so hard. Gary Player was one of my favorite interviews of all time because he gave me a lesson on the telephone. And he was such a good storyteller. And when when they give you back your name or a nickname, it makes, if you ever been interviewed by somebody, if you could throw the name of the interviewer back, it makes a huge difference. And a player said to me, I said, well, since I had, he was talking about Augusta. He said, let me tell you, you could put a five. Oh, you know some five handicaps? I go, I know. He goes, you could put a five handicap 100 yards away from every green at Augusta, and they wouldn't break 100. Yep. I go, oof. He goes, because it's all about putt. And I said, well, since I have Billy Casper on the air, can you give me a bunker lesson? He said, I'd be thrilled to. Now listen, son. Well, first thing, don't be wedded to the sandwich in the bunker. If you're in the front bunker and the pin is in the back, hit the 8-iron out of that. So you hit a bumper run with an 8-iron and run it back to that pin. But if you don't remember a single thing I tell you, young man, remember this. When you're in that sand bunker with a sandwich, you must strike the match off. Believe the match is on the bottom of that, you go through no deceleration. No, you must strike the match and let the sand take the ball to
blow it up. Excellent. Blow all that stuff.
It wasn't until, there was no videos, write all this stuff, no word for word down. It could not have been nicer. And over the years, I mean, the LPGA play, Annika, of course, was fabulous, and Lorena Choa. I think the one I remember best is Nancy Lopez. Yes, thrilled to interview. And she said, I said to her right before it went on, well, I think we went on the air. And I said, I'm here with Nancy Lopez, whose husband I see more in my dreams than she sees in her. And she looked at me and she said, are you a Red Sox fan, coach? And I'm like, yes, I am. It is. She goes, I thought so. Right? She was married to Ray Knight, who scored into the winning run when the ball went through Bill Buckner's legs. Okay, in '86. So I can still see Ray Knight running down the third baseline with his hands up in the air. Oh, that's great. But they've all been very, all were very, very nice to me. In the interview process, I mentioned, I think in the last that in all the years I've interviewed people, I only got one thing, and that was from the great Lou Holtz. Oh, really? On Notre Dame stationery. Just hanging.
Got that for you?
Yeah, it's hanging.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Say. All right, everybody.
Yeah, he says, dear Mr. Gilgallen, aka Coach, which he always gives me a throw. He said, thank you for the interview. And I must tell you that you showed an amazing knowledge about the subject at hand in my blog, and I appreciate the work that you put into it. It's not a common occurrence in your business. And I go, oh, you must have got, look, if you're going to interview somebody like that, you got to have an understanding of
That's right.
So many people get into my business every interview about themselves. And that's guys. If you ask an 8-minute question and the only response that's required is yes or no, that's not it. And that is life. And when you get a bad one, as I have several, you flop sweat.
Right.
You're talking to 50,000 people and listening, 30,000 anyway. And, you try to interview the guy and he give you, give us something here. Give us something here.
A little bit, yeah.
So I've had a few of those. And one of them, strangely, was, what's his name? That does the sword. Chi-Chi? Chi-Chi was the worst interview, one of the 2 or 3 worst interviews I've ever had.
Really?
In history of 40 years.
Now, was that all here in the Coachella Valley?
I think that was in D.C. It was not particularly interesting. Sometimes a press agent, and I finally had to say, Chi-Chi's there, like something else you'd rather be doing than talking to me on this interview? Because I can tell you right now, there's a lot I'd rather be doing. click.
Right.
And, very rarely, another guy, Billy Packer, was a CBS golf and a basketball analyst was miserable. But for the most part,
Everybody's really pretty.
yeah.
I know that when we had Dave Stockton, just that time.
Oh, well, he had something to say.
Yeah.
If they have something, if the golfer, and usually that's the hook, is they have a sponsor obligation. So usually in the interview process, and you'll say to them, like with kids with cancer, and we'll get right to that in just a second. But before we do, and then you ask them questions you want to ask. Then you always promote, what brought them to the table in the first place. It's there's no school for the interview process, and that includes the so-called broadcast universities and the broadcast schools. The only way to learn how to do it is to get in there and make as many mistakes as you're going to make, and you learn. Try to learn.
So I was listening to your show this morning on 102.3
Desert
Classic Rock. I love that. And
a wonderful combination of rock and roll in this.
that's right. Get online if you're listening abroad. If you're in the valley, just tune in to dial.
If you're not in the valley, just go to Alexa and say play Q102.3 KRHB.
Absolutely. Get a hold of Coach. Tell him you heard about it off this Pro and a Half podcast. And also, I was listening this morning to you. Somebody shoot par today.
I heard of it. As a matter of fact, I'm shooting par today.
Happy birthday, my friend.
72.
Happy birthday.
So I think it would have to be a miraculous day, but it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. But advance the ball off the fairway, it would be possible. That's obviously every golfer's dream. Especially senior golfers.
Oh, yeah. I'll get texts. In fact, I had a couple here. This last week. Jumbling 80 years old. Been working on it, and maybe working 4 or 5 sessions.
Yeah.
Just 78.
Get out of town.
He was so happy. Had another guy.
It's only one out of 1,000 golfers will ever shoot their age.
Yeah. Oh, you're down to like 5% of all golfers.
Of all golfers that ever lived.
Yeah. And so that's really
Has
cool.
to be an amazing thrill. Makes
your day.
Yeah, I think I'd have to live to be like 85 at this stage. But, I've broken 72 a couple of times. Not very many in my life, but I had a couple of hot days. And not one of these tournament courses here. I'm at a daily fee course. And you still got to go.
You still got to hit the shot.
I know, you got to hit the shots.
That's right.
Actually, it was Indian Canyons. I had a 268 and a 69. But the best round of those 3 was the 69. It was only 3.
Yeah.
Only time in 72 years now that I went only 3.
And I tell you, when you're talking to just amateur clients and all that, but kind of stats off PGA Tour, how much time do you think they spend hitting wedges?
Hours and hours and hours.
It's about 50% of their time.
Well,
there's at least but it's what about
most of their shots are coming into wedge range, particularly on a par 5, but oftentimes out of trouble.
That's
in a par 4, and you can see. This is the thing that drives me crazy. It's Dave Mulso, the pro. I'm the coach, the hack. We'd like to just every once in a while tell guests to go fly a kite and just shoot that as a little golf together. How is it humanly possible? And I saw it several times last weekend at the PGA and this past weekend. How is it humanly possible to get an 8-iron with an 8-iron loft? I'm realizing that the pros will tweak their lofts closed a little bit.
Well, they'll tweak the loft a little or change shafts.
Yeah.
Shafts more so than the heads.
An 8-iron 195. That to me is humanly impossible.
It's absolutely amazing how coaching, for one, has changed versus even back in the 90s when I first started on how it's all changed.
So how much of that is hand-eye? How much of it is muscle? How much of it is the gym? I mean, to hit an 8-iron or even a 9-iron, 180 yards. I mean, I don't understand how the club will possibly go that far. They're not a 40-mile-an-hour.
It's their angle of attack and how they're coming into it. The design of the new clubs, the shafts, the golf balls.
Yeah.
That's why we're talking about this golf ball rollback.
Yeah.
The player nowadays is an athlete. Or before you're pulling up in your car and you got a cooler of beer back there, and you guys are hanging around having a couple of beers. Sure. It's a whole different ballgame. These guys aren't huge by any means, but they're strong. The mobility.
Well, the thing about this game is that and normally in a solitary situation. I mean, when I first started going to the range, and then I go out on this 9-hole course in Maryland, and I play Callaway against Titleist, by myself, just out there all by my own. And you have to love something to do that by yourself.
First time I did, I hit one solid shot. All the rest of them were horrible. First time I ever played. That's it. It just felt like blood.
It is. Look, it's the game for a lifetime. And I mean, I play against guys that I have to help out of a bunker, and I'm losing to them. 6-5. So it's a great game for family. It's a great game to share with kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Spread it around. Take those kids out. It was one fully night. Kids out. Junior I've been working with that's never even held a club bar.
Oh, that's
right. I wanted him to come out and introduce him to the game, so definitely.
Well, it's perfect. If you can get somebody as a teacher of your caliber, who's never touched a club, that's your dream, right?
When you get that kid that's into it,
yeah,
and all of a sudden you just get a little thought, well, that club is right, that kind of thing, and he gets it. Oh, it's really satisfying
because it's not easy to hit the ball. No, it's sitting there on the tee.
Yeah, and it's just sitting there.
It's not coming at you at 90 miles an hour or curving. And even these great players, hitting slices. I mean, in the last 2 weeks, I've watched a lot. Watching the PGA and over this weekend on a new. This was a new track at TBC. Yeah, designed by Dana.
Yeah, or Byron Nelson.
Yes, even they, these great players, far right.
That's right.
Far right. Oh my goodness gracious!
You take a look at Wyndham Clark, and I mean, talk about zoning out on Sunday. New player. I heard he got a good coach, and it's amazing. Even kind of as an amateur, what have you, take a little break from it, and then you come back, and all of a sudden, please, best round ever.
Well, yeah,
when you kind of get into those changes and get some new element around, even back at Oak Bonnet, he had done a few things he apologized for, and that kind of thing, and just getting past all of that, finding new people to hang around, and it's just amazing what it could do.
Well, you have to have a little bit of patience with golfers of all ranges. Even the greatest players, because when they hit a slice, a 70-yard slice, I mean they're shaking.
What is that?
I mean they're like,
it was like Tim Cup when he shanks it down the.
Well, yeah, I mean, hey boss, take the change out of your left pocket, put it into your right pocket.
Put your hat backwards.
Put your hat backwards. Bite the towel.
No more hot chili peppers of Lee Jansen's,
I know it's amazing. But to see that, and in your perspective as a teacher, you get the benefit of seeing people come through and get better incrementally. Every once in a while, they take a big jump.
Oh yeah,
Just one to move. And there's probably 4 or 5 things that, if not more, because there's 1,000 things to think of. As you're taking the club back, but quick fixes. I mean, the hinge. How important is the hinge to a new goal?
Well, the hinge is good. The hands are the only thing holding the club, right? So the grip is one, but feeling what those hands are doing with the club, relaxed. Lots of times people have too strong a trail hand.
You can see the veins.
Yeah. Just staying relaxed and just feeling the gist of this one.
Nicholas used to say, "You want to hold the bird, but not kill the bird."
Right. Exactly. Again, it's amazing. That's where I like to start. And then I don't do quick fix.
Well, let's focus on it quickly, because just 75 pages in Hogan's book. It's not comfortable initially.
No. Everything about golf is counter
because you're used to the old baseball bat.
Correct.
When you grew up like we grew up. And all of a sudden now this hand got to come over here, and this comes under here. And the thumb, I see so many people pressing that down at the top of the shaft.
Yeah, my trail hand.
That's not good. You don't want that. That keeps the club face open, does it not?
Well, there's a variety of things it can do, depending on how strong or weak your lead hand is, what you're doing on your path. Yeah, so there's a lot of variations.
I know. This is what I'm talking about. It's not easy.
It's not easy. But getting the good gist of that grip and just feeling a loose motion with the swing, just back and through. Just get the start of the feel. You start to feel the weight of the club coming through. Then we take it from there. But really, no quick fixes. And the biggest thing I try to do is we're trying to keep it as simple as we can. So if you've got somebody that's got an issue with feeling their club pad, and okay, maybe you need more rotation, or maybe we need to adjust the hinge just a little bit. But trying to find that root issue, and it's amazing when you give somebody a certain action, how many times that reaction will fix other little things you don't even have to think about.
Well, how did you guys learn? I mean, just like from watching TV initially, right?
I watch every day. I watch golf scenes.
Yeah.
From way back when to now, and how it's changing. I didn't work with any big instructor, Butch Harm, anything like that. I just developed, and then as I worked through the years, I went, wait a second. If he keeps trail elbow straight, initiating tape away, or something, to that. Yeah. And you just progress. And then I go to, teaching summer. Just went to one a few weeks back, and, trying to learn something every single day. And then over 30 years.
Well, if we learned anything in the last 2 weeks, it's that putting is with these guys right there. Nobody could. The one guy who made a couple of putts, wound up winning the tournament, made a 65-footer.
But you saw those slow, even here this past week.
Yeah.
Those greens weren't flat.
No, they were not flat
or grass.
Yeah.
Conditions. If I remember correctly, they did a huge renovation in Dallas there.
Yeah.
Georgia Fairways.
Yeah.
Ball sits up so beautifully.
It's like a sponge. It's like a sponge.
Bed greens.
Great bed greens.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes a huge difference.
It's throwing the hack. We're just chewing the golf fat here a little bit. Coming off halfway through the major season, we have the obviously the U.S. Open coming up in Chicago now. We're talking one side early. Yeah,
I hope it shows its teeth.
All 4 days. It will. It's a major championship venue. And there's been some great winners at Chicago. Ray Lloyd came out with 5 wins one year. And, throws were like 5 win, right? Well, you don't have a
2 hours. What do you do?
And beat him to death with that out of Chicago. It's a ocean course and in Long Island, and it is.
Yeah, so Southampton, New York. So it's going to be quite the place. And I also have heard now, too, that the USGA announced they got 35 additional golfers that earn full exemption.
Really?
Bring the total number to 86.
So,
yeah.
Well, there won't be 29 under par. I can tell you that.
Get better now.
No, I guarantee that. And it's a course that is exposed to the elements.
What's your thought on that? Shooting those low numbers like they did last week.
Well, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, again, everybody's got the same opportunities, and I don't think we want to see open championships break out in all our majors. I mean, each major it has a little different sauce, but I don't have a problem with it either way. I love the game. I love the competition. I like when there's 2 or 3 guys, that have a shot. There's plenty of leaders on that league.
Oh yeah,
that could have went.
all of a sudden you see 10 guys right there, all of us scrolling on
and this guy, this guy's a U.S. Open champion, won at the L.A. Country Club. Wyndham Clark, who's just a hell of a player, won the U.S. Open. I mean, he's a U.S. Open champion. So, that changes things.
I think we're going to have a great field. But I tell you what, you're looking at these strong guys. Look at Wyndham Clark on how well maybe he does this year. Or you look at, Jordan to keep going. What's old Jim Furyk going to decide on our U.S. team?
Well, I think he, the European, somebody found a player from the PGA. The winner of the PGA has got to be on the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
And that was why wouldn't he be? And you saw the ways. What's his name? Won the U.S. Open last year with his
AJ.
I mean, 65.
JJ's got to be there.
Gary Woodland comes back from the serious depression and
it's a major surgery.
Yeah,
brain surgery.
Yeah, he's another guy. I mean, we are loaded with great.
I think so.
Now, the only thing I hope is that we can put aside this nastiness because it went too far.
Well, it's like Dave Stockton was talking about too. Getting get some crowd control on this.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing for the players to give each other, like Sevy.
Well, that's great. Yeah,
Sevy would jingle his chain. Always came up with a chest cold the week of the Ryder Cup. It was fun. I mean, I get that, but you can't have fans throwing stuff at players, and we overhyped the USA chant. It is annoying. And I tell you what, if it was me, if I was in charge, but it was the United States golf boss, any person on a tee shot on a par 5 that yells "go in the hole" should be taken and first and then kicked off the property.
Just smack in the back of the head.
I can't stand to get in the hole, guy. I just can't.
I don't know what to do, but that's what I always think.
It started with Ray Floyd. Many years ago, there was one guy following that day, just kept shouting out, get in the hole, on par 5 tee shots. I mean, ridiculous. And so then, because we are very strange as human beings, we copy what we hear. And a perfect example of that is the interview process of the professional. What's the first word almost every time at a golf interview? Yeah.
And then they go put their hand up here and they kind of do this with their hand.
First thing you say is, yeah. I thought it was Rory, you shot 77 today. Yeah. I wasn't real good today. And it's the first word that they say. And every single one of them says,
oh, yeah.
Every single one. And, I've done studies on accents. These are the things that keep me up at night. Okay. Nobody else thinks of this stuff. One guy at some point in New England, 100, 200, 300, 500 years ago, I don't know. One of them said, "Park the horses over there." And somebody heard them. I mean, you're not born with an accent.
Right.
You have to learn it. And you have to learn it from somebody who had to learn it from somebody who had to learn it from somebody. So somewhere in everybody's, in the y'all,
Been there, done that?
Yeah. I mean, Minnesota.
Yeah. Well, see, there's things. I was born in Minnesota,
Yeah.
but then most felt like it was down in Texas.
Yeah. And
And it's amazing.
and
how
you
you
went
pick
to
it up.
Dakotas too, weren't you?
As a kid. Yeah. That way.
So I don't know what their accent is, but I mean, the accent is a learned speaking that you have to learn. Yeah. Okay. Jersey, the Boston. I moved to Mississippi for a year and a half, and I was y'all this and all y'all, all y'all doing all y'all.
Gonna go fixing the goals.
I'm fixing to have some catfish over here, and you just get wrapped up in it. It's really an incredible thing. And so every time I see the golfers now, I watch them for their catches. Like, yeah, all of them. I mean, everyone. You watch these interviews now. You tell me if I'm lying. It's unbelievable. It's the pro and the hack. I had the great honor of working with Dave Loso, one of Ireland's great club professionals and teaching pros, and representing Shrixon. And I wanted to mention this about Shrixon, yeah, because they developed the LADY ball several years ago, primarily for women. Maybe you can explain what the difference in that ball and other balls was. I mean, obviously it's easier to compress.
Sure. Yeah. You know,
You don't have that.
kind of goes back to
You don't have that 200 mile an hour.
Right. Exactly. You know, even if you think about it way back when, for those of us that can remember, the balls,
Yeah.
would be 190 and 80 compression ball. The 80 was what the ladies would hit because of swing speed.
Yeah.
You get a little more compression on it. And now temperatures dropped or something like that, guys would change to an 80 compression ball. That ball kind of height is the same way. Now the colors and they said it's different now. The same principle.
Well, I remember the only reason I really remember it is because, first of all, I had some.
Mhm.
And I was playing with an old timer. I was playing with Johnny Cock, who's a several-time Ryder Cup winner and a Mississippi boy. One of my favorite people that I've ever talked to about golf. And he was playing the Shrixon LADY. Now, the reason I say LADY is because I said to him, Johnny, you playing a lady ball? And he said, Coach, in his Mississippi twang.
Right.
That's LADY, laddie. That's a laddie. And then later on, they came out with LADDIE on their Shrixon ball. So they've been at the forefront of promoting musical compression balls to
Oh, absolutely. They've got unbelievable. In fact, I can't wait on the next podcast. We're going to have Sturksaw along with Cleveland. We're going to talk to that introduction manager on that. And they're in the Z Star, the Q Star. They're soft.
Yeah.
Just a great array of balls.
Oh, the Shrixon salty is a double. I'm at a point where my swing speed isn't what it once was. And you know, there's no better feeling than the feeling of compressing a golf ball. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right. Oh, yeah.
Maybe, you know, you could compress it, particularly off the tee, where you have to be able to compress a ball. I don't care when you're in it. Yeah, that's what your age.
Absolutely. You know, and irons are the same way too. You know, getting that angle of attack, getting down and through the ball. Remember that the low point with an iron is about a half inch to an inch in front of the ball. So it's the counterintuitive.
One of the hardest.
Yeah, you do, and you get that compression on that ball. Ball goes up higher. We get more spin.
Yeah.
We see different response on greens.
Well, when you say counterintuitive, it's if you and you see amateurs, you rank amateurs just learning, and you want to just tell them, if you want the ball to go to the right with your body, then have to open your stage.
Yeah, I mean, you want to line yourself up where you want the ball to start.
But when they slice it, they keep getting more and more open, aiming to the left.
Oh, you're talking about unintentional, not intentional.
No, I'm talking about unintentional. There is no intentionality in a 29 handicap.
It's an amazing, you know, there's so many variations I can have. ticket, the best darn teaching aid out there is a simple little light on rock.
Just you on
If you just went back and through, back down, back on the run, through the run, and start to do your flow path, you're on your way.
and you can learn from the greatest ones. I mean, Nicholas is a guy who plays 4 feet in front of the team, and that's where you look there, because that's where he wanted his flow path to be.
Yeah.
And then he glances. This is what Ray Floyd told me. One of my favorite quotes. He said, "Coach, the amateur golfer stares at the ball and glances at the pin. The professional golfer stares at the pin and glances at the ball."
That's right.
Now, what's that?
That's an everyone to really take note of that. I'll tell clients too. I had a junior that I developed a year, worked with now for over a year, I think, and coming along great. But he was having difficulties focusing so much on the ball instead of just swinging. The club hates the ball. What are you so worried about the ball?
Yeah.
And I mentioned, in my eye, when I played a little bit, I'd imagine a yellow line. So I hit him with, follow the yellow brick road. Imagine the yellow brick road going down to your car. Yeah, from the Wizard of Oz, right? He looked at me like I had lobsters coming out of me. He had no idea what I was talking about. So I says, all right. And I turned around to Dad. I says, Dad, get it on around and go and have him watch the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
And I'll be done. Did he come back, watch the Wizard of Oz, and he got it. Oh, and it's amazing. This little thing is life's out.
Well, let me ask you this. There was a time where I had to hit a ball over a couple of trees. To do that, I had to stay behind it. That didn't
Remember counterintuitive.
Yeah. And so, but I got it up over the trees, and I hit such a good shot that the rest of the day, through the middle of the fairway, I made believe there was trees in front of me.
Yeah. So I was kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah. I mean, is that something that what you say counterintuitive? You have to hit down to get it over the trees.
Down equals up. But here's the thing: you need a little trick too. One, ball positioning is huge. Okay, we want to catch it up a little bit. Yeah, maybe we play it up in our stance just a little bit. You want to hit a ball higher? Finish with a higher hand finish.
All right.
Tiger would do that. You see all those videos out there. Just like high hand finish, and that ball will go.
Sick.
It is. It's a mind bender.
You love it so.
Yes, sir.
And so anyway, the U.S. Open coming up.
Yeah, who's your favorite?
If there's one game I don't gamble on, it's a game of golf because there's how many U.S. Open players did you say there's going to be?
Well, they'll have a full field. They've got 86 now exempt players.
Plus,
Plus
others.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you, golf, I mean, have you qualified? Tried to qualify?
Tried qualifying once.
Yeah,
and that's when I was playing pretty good, and missed it by 3 shots on the first stage. And I haven't tried it since.
And now the senior Open is right around the corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
No.
Well, look, if you want to try out for the U.S. Open, you're able to.
Absolutely.
As long as you have a 1.2 handicap or better.
And I'll tell you something, your game better be dialed up. Now, if you're trying to qualify for something like this versus just playing at your club, a local club tournament, it's not that.
No, you got to be a club champion. I mean, you got to be even more than that.
Absolutely.
Lee Trevino said when they started the senior tour, he said, "Look, if I have never heard of you, you're wasting your time." Okay, just to tell you. But the senior U.S. Open, I believe that you can have as high as a 5.
I think so. But the pressure, everything is still there. You've got to be. It's opened up for more opportunity. But there's a lot of great players out there. Maybe they could throw a 64-inch shell.
You know what? If you're a club pro, or if you're an amateur, +2 or 3 handicap, go out there and give it a shot.
Absolutely. The best thing you can do, and I've had guys tell me this before that have played out there, the best you can do is just keep playing.
Yeah.
You only learn by
Expectations are the building blocks of resentment.
That's right. You start to learn the mental side of it real fast.
Well, you won't know because in order to be a club professional or PGA member, you have to pass a player test, the PAT, player aptitude test, player ability test. And, they don't, that's not a competition against another player. It's a competition against the number that's on the chalkboard.
That's you in the golf course.
And you'll notice that it's written in calligraphy. Perfect calligraphy. Because that's one of the laws of becoming a golf professional.
Oh, that's
He's known your calligraphy.
I had worked for a guy by the name of Cotton Duff in Prescott Country Club at Dallas in the mid-90s. And my writing wasn't quite good enough.
Yeah.
Get away from that. I forget the guy's name. Yeah. We didn't have the computers and all to do it all on printouts. You had to write it all by hand.
This is the computers.
I leave Ken Howe with the scorecards and all that stuff. If you're still doing the big scoreboard, yeah, I wasn't good enough. So he always raps me on that one.
Well, that's part of it. It's one of these things that nobody thinks about on your way to becoming a club professional. Calligraphy is a big part.
Oh, that's a big part.
Because they don't mess around. They want those scoreboards. I mean, the name Gil Gallen even looks good in calligraphy.
Oh, but yeah. So, quick trivia questions. I got a few questions.
I'm on a trivia.
A little Q&A for everybody out there. Don't go to Google and think you can do cheat. Don't cheat. Real quick. Aside from Jack Nicklaus, who is 100th straight? He's making his 100th straight appearance in a major. Let's see if I'm sharp reading this correctly. I want to make sure I see it here.
100 majors in a row.
That's right. Jack Nicklaus and who else?
That's a great question. Jack Nicklaus, what was he going? He was way more than 100.
Yeah, and I'm not sure on his complete total, but absolutely. And you think Tiger? No.
Well, because of his injuries.
That's right.
And whatnot. Obviously, he's qualified. Well, you have to look at this a couple of. One, that if you win the U.S. Open, I think it has been cut down to a 5-year. It used to be 10 years. A 10-year exemption in all ages.
Check on that too. I still want to say 10. I'd have to double check.
Same with the Masters. You get a nice exemption. I think that's a 5-year exemption and a lifetime exemption there. You used to get a lifetime exemption to the PGA. In fact, you get a lifetime exemption to the Bob Hogan at one time, which is why who was the guy with the guy with the fancy colored shoes? Doug played against Dark Palmer in his heyday.
Oh, the fancy wingtips.
Yeah, Doug, the guy that lost the British Open to Nicklaus by shoving a 2-foot putt.
Oh gosh, you're not drawing a blank.
He's from the Coachella Valley. Anyway, these kind of things happen. So, it's you get if you win the U.S. Open, you're guaranteed to play 40 majors. I mean, that gets you started. Let's get you started. And what is it? 100?
Yep. So 2 guys. Jack Nicklaus is one of them. Making his 100th straight appearance. Adam Scott. 49 years old. Adam Scott. Oh man, if you're catching this podcast, consider the Jim and Stewart as well.
Well,
49.
Is he 49?
I believe so.
Oh, he'll be making a fortune on that thing. But the only problem is, Tiger's getting ready to take the sled.
I sure hope so.
I do too.
I haven't heard any reports, but God, I sure hope he's doing okay.
Well, back to Europe, I heard.
Oh, did
it's fun. Take as much time as you can.
I sure wish.
I mean, as somebody who's dealt with these issues on a personal basis, I know the public and the press are quick to attack alcoholics that are addicts who are having a hard time stopping. It's not easy.
No.
But it can be done if you do it correctly and honestly. That's the key. is honestly, it's hard for people in the public eye to go through it. But at some point, you got to hit bottom.
Yeah.
And some people's bottoms are higher than other people's bottoms. But you will hit bottom at some point if that's what you're inclined to now. So, well, I'll tell you a quick story behind that. So, my father, one day called me out of the blue. No, he never called me. I called him, but I got a call. I'm in D.C. He's in Boston. He goes, I'm getting to an age where it's going to be hard for me to drive pretty soon. I'm going to come down and see you, hang out. I go, okay. Because I just want to sit at your bar. I go, okay. So he drove down from Boston to D.C. And coincidentally, the Red Sox were playing the Orioles.
Right.
So we got to see a game. I took him to an opera. We went out, played a little golf. And so he was sitting in my bar, where, I got the jacket case, throw the towel over my shoulder. And there was nobody in there. So I was chatting up my old man. I said, look, I got to ask you. I never saw you have a drink in my entire life. Maybe beer, one. He was a designated driver before there was such a thing as a designated driver. And which made all my uncles happy. My father and her sisters. But so I asked him, I said, I never saw you, even have a drink. I wind up with this alcohol. Have that happen to me. And he said, I didn't drink because my father did. He was a coal miner. And, he had to be at the pay window to make sure this is for you. This is for us, And he said, I don't know what this means. He says, but we had 3 boys. I was the oldest of 2 little brothers. And we might have had more, but at the time, we lived in this apartment with a radiator, forced hot water radiator, not uncommon in those days. And he said, your brother Paul was dribbling the ball by the radiator. And the ball went by the radiator, his hand hit the radiator, and he never touched the radiator again. Never went near it again. Your brother Kevin slipped on his socky pajamas one time, and his foot hit the radiator. He burned his toe. He never went near the radiator again. He said, you burned yourself on that radiator about 700 times. He said, so as a parent, I had to learn that pain was not a motivating factor in changing your behavior. I'm sitting there going, oh, holy God, that's some heavy sauce right there, man. I'm like, wow. So, you never know. But when you see Tiger going through this, I'm always struggling as long as he's processing, trying.
Yeah.
And oftentimes people don't like to hear this, but my experience with situations like this, that a lot is that oftentimes relapse becomes part of the recovery process. And that's a hard thing for people that don't have an understanding of addiction. They're like, I just done it, that. It's a disease.
Yeah.
It is. I don't care what it says. And so I'm praying to Tiger that he can recover from this.
I sure hope. So I think he will. I think he's
just shows he may be the strongest, the greatest in your field, the richest guy in Florida.
Still you.
And sometimes, but he's got physical pain.
Yeah.
Which a lot of times is a free ticket to painkillers.
Yeah.
Which after a while will wear you out.
It's amazing how quickly that could be addicted.
And how much hasn't he given us? A lot.
Oh,
huh?
It's absolutely amazing what that man has done.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Everybody, you hear the talking bad about this or talking about that, and I tell you, they have no idea unless you've walked in those shoes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, it's 82 wins.
Yeah.
82 wins. You win 20, you're in the Hall of Fame. And you get a lifetime exemption, I believe, if you win 20 tournaments. And you would be shocked if you looked on the list today and saw who hasn't won 20.
Yeah.
Some of the biggest names you have
Players, all time.
I mean, David Slove got to 20 late in his career, just a couple of years ago. So,
Oh, yeah. Les Stagger and, yeah. Hope to see you.
wins. Now, nobody loves Sam Snead more than me, but, you know, the Sam Snead 82, a lot of those were against, cab drivers because a lot of the players were.
Yeah, exactly. That's.
And Sam was, he was in the service and teaching
I'll
golf.
talk about that.
Yeah.
He would like with Bob Bryant, five else.
Yeah.
With his 11 straight, 13 in a year.
And that was the Warriors as well.
But,
Doesn't take anything away from it, Mike.
they're still one of the greatest.
You still got to golf your ball, man.
That's exactly.
You got a motor around that golf course. That's the key. It's not very.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, I'm looking forward to the Open.
Well, first of all, the golf course, this is a great year. Radovic is going to put some pressure on Shinnecock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and not that Shinnecock needs the pressure. Shinnecock is proven
Just got to get to
time.
Yeah.
And you wonder, if it's one thing if the wind blows in Philadelphia. It's another thing if the wind blows hard right the ocean, on the point where Shinnecock is. It is an amazing golf course. An amazing. I think it's 100 and something years old. So that's what's the first time there. And all I can see is the when I close my eyes, I had the pleasure of playing it. Is the tall wispy grass, whatever they call that. I don't know.
On your phone,
Grass, yeah, grass, man. I mean, ice planes everywhere up there, and you'll hear that a lot. Oh, you don't want to go on the ice plane? The ice plane? No, I don't want to go on the ice plane. Shinnecock is a premier Open Championship thing, and it will really test them, and they know that.
Yeah.
But I did hear a couple of the guys that are winners are starting to use the Nicholas bond for the majors.
Yeah.
I heard Rory talking about it. They go there early.
Yeah.
They get there to 8 days early. Nicholas could care less. He had plenty of money, his own plane. They go to Augusta after you win. You go early and you get the lay of the land. You can go to there's certain. Sure, exactly. I have to look it up what the actual rule is for players playing the course of the weekend.
Yeah, especially with this because it's a USGA.
Yeah.
And
we're not here to embarrass the great players.
Right.
We're here to identify. You know how many press conferences I heard that live? They love when it's over. Scores 2 over,
As like Sandra said when we had her on there, they'll never set it in the middle of the green.
Well, thank you, David.
Absolutely. Happy birthday to you, Coach.
Thank you, brother. My pleasure. I can't believe I'm still here. I only had 4 heart attacks, 4-wing bypass. It's a miracle, and I'm very grateful. Grateful to have this opportunity to talk about the game we love with you. Forward to talking to the strict side match.
Yeah, I look forward to
the science.
Absolutely, it's gonna be good.
Golf is another thing that's like radio. My business is the half science, half art, and certainly golf is as well.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
You can put all the science you want into it, but if you're not a painter,
that's right. How are they going to approach it? What are they going to do?
They give you the paint,
right?
They give you the paintbrush. But you're going to have to
use my fingers. Coach, thanks so much, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Much love.
We'll see you next time, folks. Thanks again.
Peace.
With host, the pro, and the hack. One's got charts and a game plan. One's got coffee.